Hey there, guys and gals, it's me, El Capitan Muerte himself, Captain Death, here to tell you guys about an exciting new announcement I have that I'm going to put online here for a couple of the episodes. We have a new merch store up on Redbubble.com, www.redbubble.com/people/El Capitan Muerte. Buy a sticker. It's like $3. Have fun. You do you. Anyways, moving on to the show. Thank you all so much for your patronage, and stay spoopy.
It's alive! It's alive! Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek.
I'm gonna start now, because if I don't start now, nothing's gonna happen.
No,
I'm gonna keep trailing off in different segs, and I'm gonna keep talking about shit. And next thing you know, we're gonna be playing fucking Lion King for the Super Nintendo in like 20 minutes.
It's like, how did we get here?
Oh, I fucking hate the monkey level. Fuck you, monkey.
I fucking forgot about that game, dude. Do you have the Aladdin game, too?
I do have the Aladdin game.
Oh my god, dude.
Disney games reign supreme.
Dude, Disney's killing. I can't get over their reign right now. They're killing it.
Oh, man.
They're selling out hard, though.
They are killing it, as in beating the dead horse.
Yeah, they are, dude. I'm pissed about this Mulan movie.
Oh, dude, how can you make Mulan and not have Let's Get Down to Business?
Yeah, and also, how the fuck do you cut Mushu as a character?
Or I'll make a man out of you.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
That's
the first line.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no Mushu, no cricket. It's almost like it's not Mulan at all.
That's some racist ass shit. We have an Asian movie and you cut out the only black character.
Well, it's basically taking away jobs. And the apparently the original animators of Lion King are pretty pissed about the CGI remake too. They're like, this is stupid.
This is trash. I love it. Like, all 12 of them said it sucked dick.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yo, I don't know why I was looking that up today too. I was just reading reviews about the Lion King.
Oh, Reddit's a fun place.
It's fucking awesome.
Reddit is a fun place.
I love it.
When you're not dealing with children and
kids everywhere.
Man, I think we got to lead in your episodes as we lead in your episodes all the time. This is episode 140. And for some reason, I felt like we would be drinking 40s, but that would just be gross. You always bring a nice whiskey or a nice bourbon.
Some good shit.
And today, you got Stranahan's?
Yep.
Stranahan's, and let me tell you guys, it is a spicy little meatball.
No, it fucking is. It's good. It's some good shit.
It's fun. It's tasty. I did like the bourbon that you brought last time.
The Elijah Craig. Oh no, it was my fucking favorite. The Larceny.
It tasted like pure fire.
Yeah, it's Larceny.
It was amazing.
It's like,
it had such a hint of smoky cinnamon that I was like, toasty. with every taste.
You need like a
the
fucking
toastiest.
Will Ferrell in fucking Wedding Crashers. What was he wearing? A kimono? You could drink that in a kimono.
Oh shit! I'm the type of motherfucker who would own a kimono, so I'm gonna get that going. Let me get that working for me.
Do you have a kimono?
No.
Dude, you should.
No. You know who does probably have one? Frowns.
Really? Probably.
Probably, man. He's chic.
You think one? No, there's gotta be a couple.
He might have like a red one.
He's got for sure,
and a blue one
for sure, and maybe a pink one when he's feeling. Fuck yeah. All right, we gotta get off this subject, dude. Move away.
I am here with Doctor Enkenstein.
What up?
And we've done 2 other episodes together.
Yes, sir.
And they were both really fucking funny. They're some of the funnier ones I can remember of recent history. We tend to be doing these longer series with dramatic undertones. I'm looking at you, Baraska, and Spire in the Woods. There isn't much levity because we're almost trying to read them seriously.
Yeah.
Almost. Looking at you, Baraska.
You're getting looked at, motherfucker.
It was just so childishly written. But getting away from that. it isn't often that I get, like, someone who's coming on to shoot the shit and have a good time and, you know, doesn't really have any expectations for the story, and we always just read something fucking random.
Yeah.
I like these episodes. These episodes break up the monotony of having to listen to, I don't know, like part 3 of a 6-part series, you know? So it's cool, and this is going to be one of the first times in a while, other than with Frowns, where I have, like, you know, jumped into a couple short stories, but we did it on your first episode, and that was fucking dope.
Yeah, that was.
So.
That was. You basically just call me a good featured artist. Like, I'm your T-Pain.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't know one song that T-Pain's featured on. I'm like, fuck that song. Feels good.
What's the one?
Buy you a drink.
Lonely Island.
Oh my god. Fuck, hold on. Yes.
I just had sex.
Is that with T-Pain or Akon?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, shit.
Hold on.
No, I'm on a boat is T-Pain. 'Cause I'm on a
Yeah.
fucking boat.
Yeah. See?
Oh, shit.
Look at T-Pain in the background.
On a boat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
People
Alright,
use
now
this
you
shit to
have
this
to
day.
stop it.
People use this shit to this day. I'm on a boat. Every time you go on a boat, you're always like, I'm on a boat at least once.
I fucking loved Lonely Island.
Me too, man. Me too.
Jizz
Jizz in My Pants is one of the funniest fucking songs. And Dick in a Butt.
I think the guys, and by the guys I mean Harold Heavy Hands and Terry the Tickler, I think they like Trouble on Dookie Island just a little bit too much. And I don't quite get it.
I don't know, man. That's a masterpiece.
Oh, they also like Turtleneck and Chain. I'm not a huge fan of that one either.
Dude, they're just great, yo. My cousin saw them live, and she was like, they were phenomenal, which is surprising.
I can believe it.
Yeah, it's just like they're actors, but like they can actually perform and shit. It's cool.
I've never doubted Andy.
Yeah, Andy's fucking awesome. Hot Rod is a great movie.
Absolutely. I also love that Jorma is pretty much the brain behind MacGruber, and I think MacGruber's one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
And so many people hate it.
I forgot about that movie.
I think it's hilarious.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. I think he also wrote that that Land of the Lost movie that people like to forget about with Will Ferrell. I fucking love that movie. For some reason, people just took it too seriously.
You think that's like the Germans, how they don't like to talk about like Nazi times type of shit, or that serious?
Not quite.
Oh, all right. I'm just making sure, dude. I'm trying to get the level here.
Shit. Now that we're here,
yeah.
I just remembered that for some reason we were gonna name the episode "Never Forget." And I think it's because this episode is gonna fall on September somewhere. Let's pull out a calendar before we get into the.
I hope it's September, 10+1. Like, I don't know if you're allowed to say the date around here anymore.
So, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. This episode is actually going to come out on Friday the 13th.
That's actually pretty cool. I'll take that date.
2 days after September 11th.
What a fucking 2 days after, dude. I'll tell you.
Never forget.
I'll never forget September 13th. 11. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, fuck. This episode is brought to you by I'm Drunk and Stoned.
That sounds like a friendly recipe.
It is. Oh, I almost sound miserable. I promise you, I am not. I just knew that if we didn't start recording, we were never going to fucking start.
I know, dude. Every time I try to, like, move off this particular spot, I'm like, nah.
Whenever we get together, we tend to just stick around the entire time.
That's what I want to do.
It's like, what did we do the one time we ate? We were like, oh man, I can't wait to record. And then we sat down and did nothing but play Battlefront and Halo. And I was like, oh shit, man, it's like 11. Like, do you want to record? And you're like, nah, I gotta work tomorrow. And I was like, all right, well, fun time.
Dude, I came over like 4 o'clock, right? And we just played forever.
And we just played Battlefront 2.
Oh my god.
On the PlayStation 2.
Dude, I love PlayStation 2.
Yeah, good times.
That's some good times.
And then we played, I think, a couple rounds of Halo or something.
Oh my dude, I wish I have fucking PlayStation, and I still to this day always am like, maybe I'll fucking buy Xbox just to get Halo, like the new Xbox. But it's ridiculous. I shouldn't do that for one fucking game.
No.
You know?
But I literally just did that for the PS4.
For Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, actually, Spider-Man.
The newest Spider-Man?
I've been waiting to play that Spider-Man game, dude.
Was it worth it?
Oh, it is so worth it.
Fuck yeah.
It is a beautiful goddamn game.
A lot of people are raving about that game.
It is a beautiful goddamn
Better than the original
game.
Spider-Man game? Because I love that game, too.
So Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man are, like, two of my favorite, like, superhero games that came out on the GameCube. And the first one was fun, specifically playing as Green Goblin, if you got that far, was really fucking dope. But I remember being so just, like, encompassed by both the movie Spider-Man 2 and the sandbox swinging through New York City. You know, I was probably like 12 when I played that. Oh, and then you have the Ultimate Spider-Man game with Neil Patrick Harris, and it's the same thing but in comic book illustrator, you know, format. Instead of like the movie, it's like the comic books. Both of those games were open world sandbox Marvel games where you play as Spider-Man and you swing around. This one is made with a movie quality sharpness that it feels like you could feel like the velocity at which you are swinging.
Holy
like,
shit!
The
is
way
that
it looks,
real?
the motion blur, like the reflection off of buildings, the shadow of night and day, like the active clock, the like seasons and the weather, like it is a crazy ass system.
Bro, let me. I can't fucking believe it. Like when you think about just from growing up when we're kids, from Nintendo,
yeah,
right
man.
at 5 years
I grew up
old,
with a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, like I remember Mike Tyson's Punch Out, this regular Nintendo,
yeah, man.
and shit. But it's like just from going from that in the '90s to almost 30 years later, which is really not that long. The advances in quality is unbelievable.
My dad
in gaming
had
systems.
an Atari, and I remember being really young and watching him play it, and like I would watch him play like fucking that terrible E.T. game, and he was actually pretty good at it. I always got stuck in the big hole. That game fucking sucked,
yeah, man, that's
dude.
a problem. That's a problem.
But yeah, like look at that
there.
game, and then like I'll play the Spider-Man game for you later, just so you could like swing around the city. But Jesus, man, is it just one of the most beautiful things. But I also got the PS4 for the next Last of Us. The apocalyptic game that came out with the clickers and the disease. Like, it's a really fucking great game.
Yo,
horror game.
I love those realistic fucking games. Like, zombie movies freak me out because, like, just thinking about diseases and viruses and stuff like that, like, how quick, just boom.
There's also
crazy.
I plan on for the show, we're absolutely gonna play Last of Us, and we're absolutely gonna play Until Dawn, which is the one that plays out like a horror movie.
Oh, dude,
and you,
that'd
like,
be awesome.
You like react. Your reactions throughout the entire game is basically like the movie.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
See, I like that shit.
Choose your own adventure type of shit.
That's awesome, but with zombie apocalyptic shit.
Well, this one is actually kids stuck in a cabin in like a blizzard up north, and then they get trounced by a gaggle of Wendigo, like monsters.
What the fuck?
And you basically have to save the entire crew of kids with as little many casualties as possible.
Like, and you're the adult, the only adult?
No, you play as each of the kids, like, through the movie.
You play as each of the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was just saying, because if I was an adult and this thing was just after the kids, man, I'd be like, which one of these little kids? Well, I don't know. If some kids were cool, I'd be like, yeah, I'll keep you. But if you were a dick, dude, I'd take them.
It's funny because a lot of the characters in that game are not very likable. Some of them grow to be more likable, but there are like at least 3 or 4 that are just like, nah, you're good. You could die.
Why is it wrong
and
to
you
say
have the
that?
choice to do that.
I would do
in the game.
I think that...
I don't like the one Asian chick. I just think she's a bitch.
Yeah.
So in every scene I play as her, like, I try to die. And, like... I last played the game with Frowns, and he thought that was fucking hilarious.
Dude.
And he's just like... He's like... you have to get to a point, and I was like, nah, man, like, I'm just gonna fucking die.
Yeah, I just don't care.
And the narrator, like, the guy in the game, like, he knows you can do that. So when you're heading towards, like a downhill slope, he'll be like, be careful, like, that character. And you're just like, nope, I'm gonna kill
this is
myself.
intentional, trust me, I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's really, really funny outcomes sometime. I think she actually ended up surviving on my last playthrough, because I would almost, like, flip a coin with deciding whether or not she would live in certain scenarios. And, a lot of the ones where I was like, I'm just gonna die, are, like, the times she would get in, like, a relationship argument with someone. And I'd be like, just fucking walk off a cliff. And there were times where, like, she's running away from a monster, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna try to survive this, because, like, she's a bitch, and she probably would survive this.
Yeah, seriously, for some reason.
So, but it's, like, the times where, like, I would just make her fail certain, character debates. Like, you know, like, sometimes you get in a discussion with a character in the game, and I would just be like, nah, I'm gonna choose the worst option available, because I'm a fucking bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
And just hope it leads me to, like, being alone and a monster eating my
Yeah, but you know what?
head.
Just because how life works, it leads you to riches.
Riches and
you, like,
and
win
jewels.
a lottery ticket. It's like, search the garbage, and then it's like, fine, yeah, I'll eat some food out of the garbage, and it's like, you found unlimited ammo and health, and you're like, fucking hell.
Resident Evil 2.
Exactly, dude. That game scared the piss out of me. Fuck Resident Evil. I love it, but it's scary as shit.
It's a good time.
Is it?
No, it's
No,
not.
it's like fucking herpes.
No,
man.
it's not.
Just kidding. It's not like herpes. It's like a gentle herpes or something. Anyway.
Is there a gentle herpes?
I don't know, man. Probably not. If it's there,
Is there something you want to tell me?
if you're out there, anywhere, gentle herpes, if you can hear us, let us know.
What were we screaming about on your last episode?
Pat me dick.
Pat me dick. It was on the tip of my tongue when you said it.
Pat me dick.
I was like, hold my dick? No, that's not right. I was like, no, pat me dick.
Dude, that would be the best whiskey or bourbon company ever.
Pat me O'Reilly dick. Yeah, that would be a fun Irish blend of whiskey.
I think it would.
Oh, man, you want to jump into some fucking stories?
Yeah, let's fucking fuck
What are
with
the
stories.
options today? Have you picked an avenue?
To see the avenues again.
Are we doing No Sleep?
Yeah, No Sleep's where I'm at.
Oh, man. There's so many.
Fucking man. This is something I always would be like, if I could wish some bad shit on people, I'd do that shit.
My ex won't stop texting me?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just like your ex always has your new number.
Which one?
I see the death of every one I meet.
I see the death of everyone.
Actually, you know what? You're going to have to edit this part out because this is fucked up and tell you this most fucked up thing. So I started dating this girl.
Yeah, that's really fucked up. I'm going to edit this out.
Wait.
Yeah.
The fucked up part is
Please.
that I picked that title, but she was like, I told her I was coming over here, and she was like, oh, I want to listen to it. But her best friend just died of cancer yesterday. So we can't pick that topic, dude.
Oh, shit.
She'd murder me. Murder me, dude.
Does she listen to the show?
She wants to.
Jesus Christ.
Pick a you pick, dude. I'm
All right.
bad at this.
Okay,
I'm bad
yeah.
at this.
No, I think we
should.
I'm going to look for something that sounds funny.
Okay, cool, good. Yep. Just me, not being a horrible person.
Thank you for visiting
Yeah, I'm into that.
Jack-in-the-Box.
Yeah, I like that shit. I'm in. Do it.
Thank you for visiting Jack-in-the-Box. There it is.
I've never been to a Jack-in-the-Box, which makes me sad. I'm gonna try all the diabetes.
Oh, I've been to a Jack-in-the-Box.
You like them? Like, what's your favorite fast food place that I need to start?
Oh,
there?
I don't fucking know, dude. I mean, I smell the bell. I
Smell the bell
a lot.
What do you rank Jack-in-the-Box to Taco Bell?
Jack-in-the-Box is like a cheesier McDonald's. I don't know. It still tastes like
Jack-in-the-Box.
It still tastes like McDonald's-ish, like fast food.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say it's over Burger King or or Wendy's. I think
Wendy's.
both of them are better. And like, if I'm gonna eat a burger, honestly, I'm going to either Five Guys or Red Robin.
Yeah, for real, dude. Yo, Red Robin burgers.
Or over to the fucking Burger Shack over off that little hut.
I've never been there, dude.
Fucking awesome, dude.
I should go because I always forget about it.
No, honestly,
it's local.
It's a little family-owned shindig, and their shit's awesome.
I wish we were getting paid by the Burger Shack. Anyway.
Thank you for visiting Jack-In-The-Box. Jack-In-The-Box.
That's not so wrong.
I like the idea of someone saying that, like, it's almost like like, Jack-In-The-Box, like, by nature is, like, fucked up. Like,
yeah.
I hate those little fucking things.
Me too.
The little Jack-In-The-Box is like, and then something pops out and fucking scares you. Who did that?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would you do this?
Why is that fun for anyone?
That's not fun. Being scared as a kid was never fun.
And imagine, like,
Here I am reading scary stories on the internet.
But think about, like, how fucked up people were in, like, the 1800s, and they're given all these, like, creepy-ass toys, like a Jack-in-the-Box.
Here's a rock. Use your imagination.
Yeah, right. It has syphilis on it, though.
Here's a box
that's
when you swirl it enough, when you crank the handle, it literally comes out and punches you in the fucking face.
Oh no, that one has
Every time you open it, doesn't that make you want to play with my wonderful invention?
Said every kid ever.
As Crying Hawaiian would say, take my best seller. It is called Dog Head with Human Hands.
That's wise words.
Thank you for visiting Jack-In-The-Box.
Man, this fucking restaurant's fucked up.
This is from Reddit Nosleep. Chili cheese fries.
Shut.
Chili cheese fries.
Like 3.5 milkshakes.
Shut the fuck up. You already ordered. I wrote it down before I pulled up. Now let me fucking order it. Nobody likes being the DD, and nothing makes the position of being a DD worse than when your load of drunken friends insists on going to Jack-In-The-Box.
These guys are idiots.
When they finally calmed down, I rolled down my window to find that the woman on the other end was in the middle of a sentence.
I can't read it.
In the box. How may I help you? Hi, welcome to Jack-In-The-Box. How may I help you? It wasn't enough to make me suspicious in the moment. She was probably just a tired employee who didn't have the patience to watch the security footage to see when my window would roll down, and instead decided to repeat the opening line over and over again. Yeah, can I get a...
Hi, welcome to Jack.
That one threw me a little more. It was odd, but I just cut her off impatiently. Yes, hi.
Oh.
There was a moment of static.
Hey.
Hi, can I get a... I ordered. No point in enumerating every last thing. It was a lot of greasy food for a lot of drunk college students. When I had finished, the response was simply...
Is that all?
The female voice was small and frail, and sounded scared and slightly breathless. I paused. I was starting to get nervous. There were no other cars in the CVS parking lot. There weren't even any kids loitering around the 7-Eleven.
I thought we were at a Jack-in-the-Box.
Which was usually common at that time of night on a Friday. The lights were all functional, though, and there were cars going by on Abbott Avenue right beyond the low lining of bushes at the edge of the lot. I tried to feel relieved. It was 2 a.m, and I was dealing with a timid, odd night owl employee.
Why are you reading that like Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
Come to the first window.
Come on, me first.
Come on,
window.
Pat me dick on the first window.
This time, the voice was much stronger.
Pat me
It
dick.
was full-bodied and professional.
Pat me dick.
It was shocking in a way that I didn't really understand. But I pulled forward just as my friend Sandra reached forward and twisted the volume of the electronic song playing off of Ethan's iPod. I sighed.
You always pull out.
When I stopped at the first window, I was greeted by a charming blonde face. She smiled through the closed window before pulling it open briskly and announcing in the same confident voice,
$23.45, hun.
I handed her my credit card, and she took it, turning away from me to run for it. I fell into the drunken interactions that were going on in the car for a moment, asking Ethan to see if Sean was still breathing, telling Taylor to stop singing loudly and crudely. I forgot all about the window for a long moment before I realized that I was probably being rude. When I turned back to the woman, was still turned around. Ma'am? When she turned back, her skin had gone ghostly white. She was visibly shaking, and her teeth seemed to be chattering. She was scratching something just behind her ear out of my view vigorously. Her huge blue eyes were open wide, communicating what I can best describe was shock.
I was gonna say titties there.
Despite the fact that she was shaking, when she brought her arm up, it was steady. She handed me my credit card and receipt, leaning forward to do it. Her face was closer to mine than fast food cashiers ever had been, and when she smiled, I recoiled. It was sudden, mechanical, and without a doubt the falsest smile I have ever seen. It looked like her mouth had simply been stretched to give the illusion of a smile. She spoke in a tiny, scared voice.
Drive to the second window, bitch.
I had to say something at the moment. Are you okay? She leaned back into the restaurant, still wearing that smile, and closed the window, but she didn't stop staring at me. The shaking subsided. The smile did not. The second window was also closed. I pulled out my phone and checked Facebook, trying to get my mind off of the noise in the car. I was used to Jack-in-the-Box taking like 2 minutes. And when 3 went by, I started to wonder.
That is the whitest thing I've ever heard.
When 7 went by,
Oh, man.
Ethan got out of the car and walked over to the window, knocking on it and screaming for food.
My people hate you.
When she finally came to the window, I got out of the car and pulled Ethan away. When I realized it was the same woman, I froze for a moment. It was never the same woman. Either it was 2 different people or they just closed the first window. It was an inefficient way to run a fast food place, and it just wasn't done. Ethan wandered back into the car as she opened the window. She stuck out 2 bags and I took them. She wasn't shaking anymore. She looked calm except for her vacant expression. She was looking right through me. Are you okay, ma'am? I noticed at that moment that I couldn't hear any sound coming from inside the restaurant. You can always hear the clanging of the kitchen, no matter when you visit Jack-in-the-Box. But all I heard was the rumbling of my idling engine. Suddenly the woman's eyes snapped to mine, and once again they got big, despite the fact that her expression remained composed. Her upper lip trembled for a moment. Ma'am? Just then I saw headlights in my rearview mirror pull into the drive-thru. When I looked back, the woman was staring intently at the headlights before her head snapped right back to me. She scratched behind her ear again, and I noticed for the first time that her thumbnail was missing.
No.
There was nothing but blackened, rotting nail bed. And then she dropped her hand, and her expression molded into one of courtesy and service. She smiled that same dead smile.
Thank you for visiting Jack-in-the-Box.
She slammed the window shut. My friends ate everything in the car, moaning with pleasure with every ketchup-covered fry and jalapeno popper.
It's a nail.
When we got home, everyone managed to stumble inside, Ethan carrying the last bag, eating the occasional stray fry out of the bottom.
It's a toe.
I went to bed without so much as a word. The next morning, I noticed that Ethan had dropped the bag in the hallway. I begrudgingly picked it up and was about to throw it in the trash when the receipt fell out, along with a few ketchup packets. I hadn't read it, but who does? I had just shoved it in the bag. But when I picked it up, I realized the last 3 words had been scrawled on the back in barely legible, shaking scrawl. Don't eat it.
Fuck. They ate all of it.
They ate all of it.
Pieces of shit. This is why obesity rates are so high in America.
That's it. She's just warning them, like, hey, you guys, like, don't eat this food. It's bad for you.
Seriously, she's trying to educate
This is
them.
bad for you, guys. Don't eat the foods.
We'll get some carrots or some shit.
Some apple slices.
Ethan, we know you fucking don't need any more fucking food.
You fat fuck.
Oh, that's the end of the story?
That was the end of that story, my friend.
Dude, that actually was a freaky story.
It was terrible. What are you talking about?
That freaked me out.
Oh, man. I think we should look for another similarly lengthed, stupid-sounding story.
Let's do it. We don't talk about Sarah. Like, why?
Like, why? No, that is the exact question I think they are
Who did
asking.
Sarah fuck?
What did Sarah,
starts out with please.
What did Sarah do?
Sarah
She's begging for
already
it.
fucking begging.
She's begging for it. This is We Don't Talk About Sarah.
Round one.
From Reddit Nosleep.
Alright. I always wanted a little sister.
Oh, fuck.
That's... Okay, sure. I would beg my parents, please, please, and they'd roll their eyes and tell me that it wasn't as simple as I thought. That didn't stop me from talking about it every chance I got, though. When they brought Sarah home, it was the happiest day of my life. She was so cute. I couldn't wait to share my toys with her. I started going through them, deciding which ones were hers and which ones were mine. I borrowed my daddy's label maker and started putting our names on each thing so we wouldn't get them confused. She cried a lot at first. I wanted to smother her face with a pillow. Just kidding. I'd asked my parents why she cried so much. They told me it was natural. They said when she got used to us in our house, she would calm down and not cry all the time. Sometimes, though, she'd cry so loud that Dad would have to take her to the basement where it was soundproof so the neighbors wouldn't complain. I can't. She slept in Mommy and Daddy's bed for the first month. Sometimes I'd try to join them, but they'd always lock the door.
Wait, you can't, like, imagine being a father?
Not for that piece of shit, kid. Like, gag it. Like, I'm not going to take you to the soundproof basement. What the fuck?
Yeah, what's Daddy down in there?
I know, what's he doing down there?
Soundproof basement.
Well, yeah, what's he with soundproof basement for?
Is he a YouTube sensation?
Is he recording shit down there?
Is it PewDiePie?
Is he fucking?
Is he fucking? That guy's fucking.
That guy is fucking down there. Where are we at? She cried a lot at first. No. Oh, the jealousy part. She slept in Mommy and Daddy's bed. Sometimes I try to join them, but they always lock their door. It's all hilarious.
Don't fucking come in here.
Ew, don't let her
weirdo.
in. Ew, you're disgusting.
We have a baby in here, you fuck.
We're trying to make another one. Add your requests. Mommy.
Maddie.
Mammy. Mommy said their bed wasn't big enough for all of us to sleep in. I was patient. I knew the new bed with the bars that they set up in my room would eventually be hers. When they felt it was safe to let her sleep on her own, they started putting her in it. She wasn't crying so much anymore by then, and I would lie on my bed and watch her sleep from across the room. They'd take her into their bedroom first and lay with her until she fell asleep, then move her to our room. Some nights after she was moved, I'd just see her lying over there with her eyes open, just staring at the ceiling. So I'd go over and give her toys through the bars. A lot of times she'd just throw the toy and start crying and have to hide under my covers while Daddy came in to deal with her. Eventually, they started letting Sarah sit with me in the playroom. I was told that I was not to give her anything too small or sharp that she could hurt herself with. Duh. I was so happy. I would sit behind her and brush her hair and tell her she was the best little sister in the world. I showed her which toys were hers and which were mine, but she didn't seem to care. Sometimes we'd sit on the window seat and she'd bang on the window while I drew on it with special crayons. School started back up at Sugar Creek Elementary, and I went, but Sarah had to stay home. Mommy said she wasn't ready for school yet. I'd come home and tell Sarah all the stuff I'd learned. I drew pictures of us playing together. When I showed them to Daddy, he'd tell me thank you and take them to keep in his office. Then came the really bad day. I'll never forget it. I came home from school and Mommy was just sitting at the table smoking. She looked real sad. I went to play with Sarah but couldn't find her. Oh man. When I went to ask Mommy where she was, she started crying. I asked her what was wrong. She said that Sarah was gone. I didn't understand totally, but I started crying too and told her we need to go find her. She just shook her head and said she was somewhere we couldn't go. Daddy tore her bed apart.
Oh, SARS, man.
SARS?
Or wait, is it SARS or SID?
SIDS.
What the fuck is SARS? Oh, those are burns, aren't they?
SARS is a really bad Asian virus.
Okay, so SIDS is the one I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
SIDS.
Sudden infant death syndrome.
Infant death syndrome, right?
Sudden infant death. It's not even you're pre-warned.
I think that's what the story's about.
You think it's about SIDS?
The kid just died in the night.
That sucks.
That's
but I'm thinking, is there like an ulterior motive? Like, did the mom or dad do it?
Oh no, it's gonna be.
Is Sarah a fucking killer?
Yeah, probably.
Sarah's a killer. You fucking killer.
We don't talk about Sarah.
Yeah. That's why we don't talk about Sarah, because Sarah fucking killed a child, yo.
Or because Sarah's just dead. Oh, fuck. No, keep reading.
Oh, fuck! I don't know how to read. No, I'm kidding. Daddy took her bed apart. Oh, yeah, he did. He threw away all my drawings with her in them. He took my name tags off all the toys. Sometimes I'd find one he'd missed and it'd make me cry. I started collecting them and hiding them, but he found where I hid them one day by accident and got really mad. We weren't allowed to talk about her. It was like she never existed. I didn't think it was fair. I told Mommy that Daddy was mean to make us not talk about Sarah, but she said it was better that way, and I would understand when I was older. But I saw Sarah again. It was just one time, but I'll never forget it. I was with Mommy doing some errands. We went grocery shopping, then went to a fabric store in Thorntown, so Mommy could look at material to make some new curtains out of. Damn, Mommy's handy. She remembered that she had letters to mail, so we stopped at the post office to buy some stamps. I was humming to myself and reading posters while Mommy talked to the lady behind the counter, and that's when I saw Sarah. She was as cute as I remembered. I walked over and looked at the poster with her picture, but they'd gotten her name wrong. Somebody had written her name down as Shannon. I rushed over to Mommy and tugged in her sleeve and told her that Sarah was up on the wall with other pictures of the children, but she got all flustered and apologized to the lady before dragging me out of the post office. I had to shout because she kept trying to talk over me instead of listening. I saw Sarah. They got her picture on the wall in there. Finally, Mommy slapped me and told me it wasn't Sarah, and that it may have looked like Sarah, but I was mistaken. If I didn't stop, I'd get in real trouble with Daddy when he got home. I cried and promised to be good. But even after I promised I was allowed to have dinner, and had to sit in my room that night, I heard Mommy and Daddy talking in the kitchen, and they got kind of loud. Somebody started banging open the kitchen door, and then Daddy's feet stomped up the stairs, but I heard Mommy scream, "Don't you dare!" And he stepped outside my room, then went back downstairs. We never went back to the post office, and I never saw Sarah again. This is the first time I've talked about Sarah since that day.
Yeah,
So,
that was a fucking bummer.
Yeah, what the fuck? I don't get it.
What if Sarah was kidnapped?
But why did they call her Shannon? What if they kidnapped Sarah? And,
Oh, right.
And the people found her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe they got caught kidnapping.
By their own fucking daughter. Your own blood ratted you out, bitch.
Oh, I mean, maybe.
Because remember, she's in the post screaming like, you know, why the fuck is her name Shannon? Her name was Sarah.
I mean, I think the kid had been gone at that point already, though. So
Right.
I think they got caught earlier or something.
Oh, maybe they...
I just think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like, why? I'm just so confused. I don't understand
that's...
it, dude.
Hey, that's why we don't talk about Sarah.
Yeah, seriously, because Sarah sucks.
Because
Sarah served no
one knows what
purpose.
happened to Sarah.
So, no, really.
So the story I'm going to read next is called She's in the House. Find Her. And, like, I hope they don't mean my house.
Because that would be pretty
'Cause
shitty.
that would be... That's an understatement.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
I'd be like, bitch, what are you doing in my house?
How'd you get in here?
Where did you come from?
No, but it's okay, because she's a girl, so she could break into your house. You can't ask questions. But if you broke into her house...
It's
you know
all
what
a
I mean?
matter of consent nowadays.
Yeah, but you gotta, like, record it, get a signature for it, a fingerprint.
But how did she get in my house?
Without consent.
If you live in Menifee, California,
Fuck out my house.
and there's a knock at your door tonight, don't answer it. More importantly, don't leave anyone in the house by themselves. Get your phone, call the police, and stay together. I'm writing this as I'm sitting in the police station questioning room as a warning, so that what happened to me last night won't happen to you tonight. I live on my own in suburbia, a nice little neighborhood, the kind of place where kids will be playing out in the street when parents doing yard work when you pull into your driveway. That's exactly how last night began. My girlfriend and I pulled in and got out of the car. We waved to the kids and had a friendly chat with Mrs. Roop next door. This was the kind of life I always imagined, and at 20, I couldn't believe it had already happened for me.
What happened?
We went inside and started our evening.
Oh.
We made dinner. We loved cooking together.
Oh.
There's a symmetry between us that just works. We ate, watched some Whose Line Is It Anyway? Downstairs.
Manga.
Normal night. Garugamesh. Once it was time, we went upstairs. She started doing her nightly routine girls always do in the bathroom. Take a fucking shit.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Get their makeup off of their gross ass faces.
And they always want to fuck before bed, which is fine. It's a great way to fall asleep, but it's like, what about when you had your makeup on and stuff?
And I just laid in bed reading Pen Pal for the 20th time.
What the hell's that?
Read a fucking different story,
What's
you
Pen Pal?
freak.
Seriously.
It's a no-sleep story.
Oh, piece of shit garbage.
With the fan going and the water running is actually a really good story. And the water running from the bathroom, I almost didn't hear it. I wish now that the fan was set to 3 instead of 2 because then everything would be different. But no, it was just faint enough for me to hear the sound over everything. I reached over and clicked the fan off. I waited for a moment, listening.
I would have turned the fan up.
God damn it, I thought. I put my book down on the nightstand and got up. I grabbed my zip-up off the chair and threw it on. As I walked out of the room, I could hear my girlfriend starting to say something, but I wanted to get rid of whoever was at the door first. I slumped down the stairs a little pissy, thinking that if this was another solicitor trying to sell me a glass cleaner, I was going to have a fit. I zipped up the jacket as I flicked the light on next to the front door. I looked through the peephole, but it was pitch black. I flicked the outside light on, still pitch black. I figured the light bulb had gone out again, as I have had problems the night before. Reluctantly, I twisted the deadbolt and opened the door. Nothing.
Wouldn't do it.
No one was there.
Wouldn't do it.
I poked my head out to look around. The yard and driveway were empty.
This is how people die.
In horror movies.
Every time.
Looking back, I made so many horrible mistakes.
Oh, weird.
I stepped out onto the welcome mat. The streets were empty and silent, minus the hum from the streetlights. I scoffed and figured it was kids just trying to play a prank. I turned and walked back inside, and after relocking the door and heading back for the stairs, I started to have a feeling. Something that just didn't feel right in my stomach, and I knew that only one thing was going to put it to ease.
Buckets of cum.
Food. I walked down the hallway into the kitchen and flicked on the light, opening the fridge, and I started to scan the shelves for something quick and easy to eat. I settled on one of those wafer peanut bars and chocolate. I settled on one of those wafer peanut butter and chocolate bars that you can get at the dollar store. I think they're called Nutties, or Nutters.
I like Nutters better.
Oh, I take a nut. I keep them in the fridge so they don't melt in my hand when I'm eating them. What a fucking genius.
That is...
I peeled back the plastic wrapper, and as I was taking my first bite, I noticed something odd out of the corner of my eye. The window above the kitchen sink was open. I had never opened that window for the entire time I've lived here. I thought back trying to remember when it could have happened, and then I recalled her saying that she was feeling really hot while she was doing the dishes. She must have opened it to try and cool off. I walked over and slid it shut and finally made my way back upstairs.
Man.
I walked back into the bedroom and the water was still running. I went to the entrance to the bathroom. Did you say something earlier? I began to say, but stopped. The bathroom was empty. Water continued to pour out of the faucet, steam floating up, clinging to the mirror. I stopped the water and turned to scan the room. She wasn't there. Amanda? I called out. No answer. I went to the walk-in closet. Nothing.
Left you on
I started to leave the room. But again, something catches my eye. I glanced at my nightstand, and on top of my book was a piece of paper. It was folded in half and set up, making it look like a little tent. I reached out and picked it up. The first thing I obviously saw was the blood. It was a bloody fingerprint on the corner of my paper. My heart started to race. Finally, my brain let my eyes pan over to read what it said, and even now, I wish it wouldn't have. She's in the house. Find her.
Who? Amanda or who?
Yeah.
Are we finding Amanda, or is the person who broke into the house taking Amanda, we find her?
I think she hid her somewhere in the house, but that also implies that this person might also be in the house.
This is some Saw shit.
It's pretty cool.
This is cool.
I read those 6 words over and over. I looked around the room again, hoping to see Amanda just hiding in the corner, snickering like she'd pulled off an amazing prank. Gotcha, buddy.
Punch her in the face.
She takes off her mask. It's Ashton Kutcher.
Punked.
And he's like, got you, bitch. I don't love you. We didn't have anything special.
I was a guy this whole time.
You love my dick. But the room was empty. I walked around the room, looking behind chairs, inside the shower, inside the closet. I looked at the bed and felt like a 6-year-old again as I slowly knelt down to look underneath. My hands had apparently been getting sweaty because they kept slipping slightly against the hardwood floor. I bent down and lifted the skirt of the bed. Nothing.
Come on.
Just a couple of dust bunnies and an old pair of shoes that I keep meaning to throw out. I stood back up and started to become agitated. My mind didn't know whether this was a joke or if I needed to be terrified. "Amanda!" I yelled. "This isn't funny anymore. Just come on out." Silence. "Look, I'm really freaked out, so stop this." I walked out into the upstairs hallway and quickly went through all the rooms. The spare bedrooms, empty. The exercise room, empty. Other upstairs bathroom, empty. I ran downstairs and looked everywhere there too. It was as if she just vanished, and all that was left was a note. I figured that the only thing left to do was call the police. I ran back upstairs and into the bedroom. The bathroom faucet must have had a leak because as I entered, I started hearing faint drips of water.
What the fuck?
I went to the dresser to grab my phone, but it wasn't there. Neither were my keys or my wallet. I spun and looked at my nightstand. They weren't there. I grabbed my jeans. I wore that day. I was in sweats now and checked the pockets empty. I threw the jeans on the floor in anger. I stood there for a moment without a clue of what I should do. Drip, drip, drip,
Said the pussy.
Oh, fuck. I stormed into the bathroom and twisted the knob. Drip, drip. I hit the faucet, getting pissed, but then I froze. There was no water in the sink, and the drips sounded further away. I slowly walked back out into the bedroom. Drip, drip. I moved around, trying to determine where it was coming from. As I moved closer to the bed, it got louder. Once again, I slowly dropped to my knees and bent over next to the bed. My hand slowly reached for the bed skirt and lifted it up. For every drip, my heart pounded 50 times. I sank my head down and looked under the bed, and then I saw it. A small pool of red. About a foot in front of me. Without more dripping down from above, I jumped to my feet and pulled the sheets off the bed. I slid my hands in between the mattress and the box spring, and after a moment of hesitation, I flung the mattress up with everything I had. My throat closed instantly. I couldn't comprehend what was in front of me. My mind would only let me process the image one fraction at a time. At first, I saw my box spring sitting inside my bed frame. Then I saw that there was a huge tear down the middle of the box spring.
Don't put your hand in there.
And then I saw Amanda inside the box spring, her beautiful face poking out from the tear. Then there was her neck, which was nothing but red. The final thing that my mind let me see appeared. It was right in the center, laying in her stomach, another note. I couldn't move. Tears were streaming down my face uncontrollably, but I didn't make a sound. My hands began to violently shake, and my knees collapsed onto the edge of my box spring. I reached out and pulled Amanda's body up. My girl, my life, my everything. I wrapped my arms around her and started to scream. The note slid off her, hitting the box spring. My hand slowly moved down towards the note, now barely even able to bend my fingers. I somehow managed to grasp the note and bring it to my eyes. My vision was completely blurred.
Not like bird better.
My vision was completely blurred.
Fucking cardinal.
From the tears. I wiped them against my jacket sleeve and looked at the note. Again, there was a bloody fingerprint, but at this point, it could have been mine. Everything is hazy from those moments, but the words are forever burned into my memory. They are the reason I am sitting here now. The reason I ran out of the house, screaming for help. But where am I?
Fuck that.
Yo, got it.
Fuck that.
That's a good time, man.
That's good. That's like Scream.
That's some hide-and-go-seek.
That is some crazy ass shit.
For men.
Yo, for real though, but that would just ruin beds for me. I'd be like traumatized to sleep on a bed, thanks. Because I would have found my dead ex-girlfriend in there, or whatever she is now. Insurance policy money, though.
I just want to be able to make sure that, like, I come out of this on top, you know?
That's exactly what I'm saying. This is great. Thanks, bitch.
If I'm single, you know, I'm getting back into the scene.
Yeah, I gotta have some money to spend. Yeah.
This this one for some reason stood out to me.
All right, cool, man. Let's do it.
Did you ever hear an older episode where we read stories about wives?
No.
And I just scream about my wife.
No, I didn't
the
hear
entire
that
time.
Just do it this time again.
Like I was my wife. The story I was telling you about the New Zealanders who liked the show, they had teased in a comment, the two jokes they find the funniest are yelling about my wife and the time where they do the hacking, I'm in.
That's awesome.
Like, whenever I do that, apparently they like take a shot or something.
Dude, so why you should do it like way more often? You gotta get these kids fucked up.
My wife.
I hope they're drunk right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Live your best life, kid.
Is it Friday there or what?
I don't fucking know.
Do they have days of the week over there? I'm not sure if they're fucking
wiki.
calendars like...
Fuck, they're gonna hate me now.
I'm curious. I just want to know, like, can you tell us about your culture?
Yeah, can you tell me about your culture?
Mainly, what's your calendar look like?
We're gonna read another story from Reddit Nosleep called "Someone is Pretending to Be My Wife."
Who do you think it is?
My wife's sister, Claudine.
I think it's Bill Clinton.
Oh no!
Oh, he's back.
What? Yeah, Hillary.
He's back again.
Is it fine if I sleep here?
Exactly, and I think it's him. All right, here we go. I'll catch Susan smiling at me for no reason.
Dumb bitch.
That's what I'm fucking saying. Shut your mouth, my God.
Fuck you smiling at?
Yeah, what is it? Just tell me already. You gonna buy me food or what? This has happened more than once. Oh, we'll be watching TV. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
We can make it. Whatever. Like always. Then I'll notice with the corner of my eye that she's got her eyes at me, not the TV. Head turned 90 degrees my way. A frozen smile on her face I can only barely make out in my peripheral vision. Something unnatural about it.
That's pretty creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Remember that first story we read about the guy who married, like, the perfect girl and then she had, like, murder tapes in the basement?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, man, that's fun.
Could you imagine that
I
shit?
love that Black Widow shit.
I'm just like, I don't know what I would do.
I'd die.
I'd be gone.
I mean, I'd probably die.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die from this fucking girl.
No, you have better chances than I do.
How? What you just hit her in the face with any
it's because
object.
I would have sex. And then she'd just, like, cut my throat. I'd be like, oh, at least I'm dying.
Dude, if you're going out, that's the only way to go out.
Time.
Imagine that orgasm.
I mean, yeah, like, I saw Gone Girl.
Gone Girl's
Rosamund Pike cuts Neil Patrick Harris's throat as they're having sex, and you know he came.
Oh, he definitely did. He died a happy man.
He's like, oh.
But if it was a guy, he would have been a little happier. Yeah. She likes guys. No, not Sarah or Susan. Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, he loves the
dog, dude. Loves the dog.
Twin dogs.
Twin dogs. All right, where are we at? And then I turned to look, and she's got her eyes on the TV again. I asked her about it the first time. She denied it. I was afraid I'd sound crazy if I pushed it, so I never asked again. There were other things too.
Sounds like a bunch of red flags.
Oh fuck, seriously. Susan had a twin sister.
Fuck.
Of course it is. Died during the birth. She never talks about it. Just last week,
we never talk about it.
We don't talk about it. Just her name was Sarah. Just last week, I turned off my lights and closed my eyes. Susan was already asleep. I woke up in the middle of the night to find her side of the bed empty. I turned around and she had that same smile by the side of the bed watching me.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Dude, I saw
Honey,
paranormal
what
activity.
are you doing?
Nothing.
Honey!
Just the smile. She made way around the bed and nested herself under a blanket like it was nothing. Paranormal activity, I would kick her.
How long were you standing there?
I asked. She didn't answer, but her side of the bed was cold, and the carpet was sunken in the shape of her feet where she was standing. Get out. It didn't start out this crazy. For a long time, I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, but it wasn't. She was not Susan. I started doing these little tests. That's how I made sure. I'd put movies we've already watched on TV just to see if she'd say something. started telling her stories that I told her already, she'd smile, never called me up on it. I asked her point blank one day. I got home and she was eating fish. Susan never eats fish. Susan, in fact, hates fish. Salmon? I asked. Tilapia, she replied. I sat on the table across from her. She smiled. I was talking to Principal Dawson about Sarah today, I said. Sarah? Yes, our daughter Sarah. Come on, bro. Come on. She chuckled. Right, what did he say? Susan, our daughter's name's Camille. Oh, fuck, plot twist. She stopped the fork halfway to her mouth and rose her eyes at me. Slowly set it back on the plate. Who are you? I asked. I'm going to bed.
I'm going to bed.
Put some Seinfeld music in there.
Yeah.
I slept in the guest room that night with the door locked. Good job. I ran away the next day. Took Camille with me. We spent the night at Best Western close to Needles. Where's Mommy? Camille asked just before bed. I don't know, honey, but if you hear anything, any sound at all, you wake me up, okay? Okay. I dreamt of a woman just like Susan that night. A woman that wanted the life of her sister. The life she didn't get. Camille woke me up in the morning. She was eating a cupcake. Did you take that out of the minibar? No, Mommy gave it to me. Fucking what?
God damn it, Camille.
Damn it, Camille. I paused. Mommy was here? Camille nodded. Yeah, she was standing right there by the bed. She was there for a really long time. Why didn't you wake me up, Camille? I was going to, but then Mom went like this. Camille put her finger over her lips and went, shh.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I would fuck. That's it. This is where you just leave the kid. Leave her in the room. I looked down. The carpet was sunken, where Camille said Susan had been. It's okay, Daddy. She was smiling.
Jesus Christ.
She's gonna eat you, dude. The following night, we were almost out of the state. Had a bed and breakfast by the border. I turned off the lights, tucked Camille in, and waited, sitting in the armchair in silence. I knew she would come. It was dead quiet, and I was dozing off when I heard the hinges creaking. I opened my eyes and waited. The door came open in slow motion. She came in, but no sound was at the door. Walked to the side of Camille's bed. That smile on her face. I got up. I went behind her.
She couldn't see me.
What happens next? Stay tuned. Her eyes were locked on Camille. Come on, honey. We're going home, she whispered. She didn't look back. She never even saw the knife when I plunged it in. The lawyer would later tell me... What the fuck?
He actually killed his wife.
He killed his wife, dude. The lawyer later would tell me I was awarded no bail and I'd have to wait for trial at the mental institution.
Capgras syndrome.
He said.
It's a delusional misidentification syndrome, not unlike Frigoli. A disorder in which the person holds the delusion that a friend, spouse, parent, or family member has been replaced by an identical-looking imposter.
I told him I was protecting my daughter. I told him that woman wasn't Susan. Still, the newspapers all read, successful LA engineer kidnaps daughter, murders wife. It wasn't Susan, I said to him again and again. It wasn't Susan. He said I was looking at 25 to life, but the insanity police still might come through though. They locked me in last night, my first night at the mental institution. Camille's with social services, they say. My room is covered in cushion material from wall to ceiling. A padded cell, they call it, so I won't hurt myself. Took me a couple pills to fall asleep. Something woke me just minutes before dawn. By the time I opened my eyes, it was dead quiet. I went to the door and peeked out through the little window. The corridor was deserted. I looked back. Just by my bed, the cushions covering the floor were sunken in the shape of 2 feet.
Fucking gnarly.
Nah, son. Kill yourself.
You're in a padded cell, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I'm not fucking doing it.
That was a gnarly fucking story.
That was a good story, dude. Fuck.
My wife.
My wife.
My ex won't stop that.
Yes.
I'll make it count.
My ex won't stop texting me. I love blocking numbers, dude. I'll tell you. It's like my favorite shit. Feels good. Like block.
Can you read for the ex?
You want me to be like a boy ex or what?
However you... I don't know, man. Go for it.
I don't know, man. Because you choose wrong.
There's only one way to respond to this first line.
Ba-na-na-na-na. I miss you.
Where are you?
And I killed this whole band.
Didn't expect Oh, fuck.
You want me to really do it?
I held off on getting a cell phone for as long as possible. I didn't really have a good reason, I guess, other than the cost. When I was just setting up on my own, there was no way I could afford the monthly plan. The monthly plan. The monthly plan. I was the only one of my friends to still rely on the landline, and it drove everyone nuts. Fuck me.
Jesus.
I managed to wait until my 25th birthday, when I finally felt financially secure. I got the feels. Enough to justify buying one for myself. My friends all laughed about my change of heart, but I could tell they were relieved.
No shit.
To be honest, I was pretty pleased too. As it turns out, cell phones are ridiculously convenient. Who knew?
Because he was looking at porn, dude.
He'd beaten it in the bathroom at work every day. I didn't start getting the texts until about a month after I bought my phone. The first message from an unknown number that I'd received, and it simply read,
I miss you.
I was confused at first. What kind of introductory text was this? It seemed a little overdramatic to me. And that was when I made the connection. Blink 182. About a year before, I've dumped a deadbeat ex-boyfriend out of my life.
You're 25.
That's right, I'm gay.
Oh.
Looking back,
Plot twist.
I can definitely say that he was really something of an overgrown child. He expected me to cook, clean, set up his doctor appointments, and give him half of my income each month, as he did not find it necessary to get a job.
Dude, he was your pimp.
I shouldn't have stayed with him so long. Damn those devilish good looks. But once I came to my senses, I kicked him to the curb, as all his other girlfriends' victims had done before. My guess was that he'd stalked my Facebook and prodded my friends for my new number. After all, this wasn't the first time he tried to reach out to me, and I figured it wouldn't be the last. In the end, I chose not to answer. For one, I knew he would just try to manipulate me if I gave him the chance, as per usual. For two, it would give me petty satisfaction to let him feel ignored and unheard. Now, as a rule, I try not to be petty, but sometimes such a perfect opportunity is just too seductive. The next few months seemed to corroborate my inference. His attacks weren't constant, but were always vague pleas that seemed to indicate that he needed a new host to leech off and couldn't find one. It was unsurprising that he tried to reach out to me first, as I'd been the most loyal and long-lasting of all of his girlfriends. And the most naive. I was the perfect target. The messages were always in the same vein and quickly became tiresome.
I miss you.
I wish I could see you. Oh, it's still you. Do them all. Start from the top.
I thought I saw you in a fucking crowd today.
From I miss you. Start from this.
I miss you. I wish I could see you. I thought I saw you in a crowd today, but it turned out to just be a dream.
Ugh, pathetic. That sounds like a Blink-182 song. One night, about 8 months since I'd had my phone, I slipped up. I have to admit it, I'd been drinking.
Block the number!
It had started as one beer to help me unwind after work and quickly snowballed into a one-woman party. I was thoroughly smashed when I received a much longer text than usual.
I miss you so much. I know you don't read these, but today of all days I need you to know how much I love you. I'd do anything to see you one more time.
Today of all days, I wondered. I tried to wade through the mushy haze of my brain. The first thought I had, I seized. Today must have been our anniversary. Sure, why not? It would be the perfect opportunity for a little manipulation. He was a prick, but he was smart. Then I had an idea. He wants to play games, okay, let's play. But I'm going to change the rules. I swear my thoughts slurred. I began to type, and my autocorrect struggled to clarify through my drunkenness. If you want to come see me, then why don't you do it?
Bet.
And then, just for good measure, I'll let him know that I knew he'd been Oh shit, that's real.
Fuck.
And then, just for good measure, I let him know that I knew he'd been investigating me. You know where to find me.
It's the sluttiest response.
I sent it, and with that, I changed fate. When I woke up the next morning, I had 13 15 missed calls. I tried to remember through the throbbing of my skull just what bullshit I'd done the night before. I groaned when my text history answered my questions. Well, at least I hadn't answered the phone. I thought I silently prayed that he wouldn't message or call again, but I feared that I merely succeeded in egging him on. To my great relief, he stopped messaging me. For a week or so, my phone was blissfully free from his assaults.
And I missed it.
I was secretly satisfied, congratulating my drunken self on her ingenuity.
You lie.
The next week, I received a knock on my door. I opened it only to reveal a man of the badge.
The badge.
His solemn face in blue uniform, standing stark in the morning sunlight. His partner stood behind him, his face hard as stone. I felt a strange coldness seeping into my veins as they stared at me. Good morning, officer. Good morning, officers. Is something wrong?
This is how every porn starts.
Oops, I dropped my tits. I better get them.
You better handcuff me to the bed, officers.
Ooh, I fell down and I can't get up. Life alert. With very little introduction, they invited themselves inside. Man. I let them in. Not sure what they were looking for, but it wasn't my clit.
Because they couldn't find it.
Because they were positive. They couldn't find it. I figured they made a mistake. I was even more surprised when they began firing questions. Do you know anyone by the name of Silence Madison? I was stumped, completely puzzled, positively bamboozled. I can't say that I do. Why? We found a series of texts to you on her phone. We found only one reply from you. The young officer pulled out a printout of the text that I'd been receiving along with my drunken reply. Reality started to dawn on me as the officer asked, Did you receive these messages?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I answered. I added quickly, but they were coming from an unknown number. I thought they were from my ex-boyfriend. And that's why you sent that reply? I was sweating nervously. Well, yeah, I thought it would make him stop. I couldn't stop running my mouth. I was a little drunk, so... fuck. Maybe it wasn't the best decision. The youngest officer stepped outside as the older one sighed. There seems to have been a rather unfortunate accident. What do you mean? He took a deep breath and opened his mouth. Silence had had a very rough first year of college. Classes were hard, she didn't quite fit in, her life was a mess of stress and papers, and just when she thought it couldn't get any worse, her best friend since childhood, Raquel Wagner, died in a car wreck. The death was instant, but Silence's pain was not. She'd withdrawn into herself as the semester went on. Her family and friends mourned Raquel's loss, of course, but they continued their lives as people are wont to do. Silence, on the other hand, could not bring herself to leave her friend in the past. She tried to deal with it, she really did. She looked for outlets. She tried to put on a happy face when she went to class, but she sank slowly into a darkness that felt inescapable.
How does the cop know all this shit?
And when that darkness was truly thick and suffocating, insufferable, yeah. I mean, like, it must have been terrible. Let me tell you, she texted Raquel's old number, a useless gesture, but sometimes it would bring her comfort. And on the anniversary of Raquel's death, when she was at her lowest, she finally got a response. If you want to come see me, then why don't you do it? You know where to find me. Oh, man. She tried calling, but she didn't even reach voicemail because I had never set it up. So she'd done the only logical thing she could do. She reached for the box cutter. She swiped from work and opened her veins to the possibility of infinity. Oh my god. I had made a terrible mistake that night. Oopsie poopsie.
Yeah, whoops.
A mistake that ended the life of someone desperately struggling just above the surface. Her father forgave me, but no matter how many times I apologized, her mother had nothing but hatred for me. I understood that. To her, I had been the final push to kill her daughter. The police told me over and over that Silence herself had ended her own life. I was not to blame, but inside me, the seeds of guilt spread far across my heart, growing like weeds that I couldn't uproot. It was a long, hard year. I managed to get back on my feet and continue on with my life, although Silence's death hung over me like a shadow. No matter what I did, I just couldn't forget her, no matter how far away the incident seemed. Yesterday was her anniversary. I tried my best to get through the day, pretending I'd never heard that name, never heard that story. It was going well until about 10 that night when I received a text from a number I'd been trying desperately to forget for the entirety of for the last year. Thank you. Dope.
Thanks for the memories, or thank you because...
Thanks for the memories.
Exactly.
Thanks for the memories.
That's what I mean. Was it them?
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy, motherfucker.
It wasn't Blink-182.
Pieces of shit.
Oh, it was not Blink-182. It was Fall Out Boy all along. What a wonderful Scooby-Doo mystery this has been. I was just thinking that shit. All right, Doctor Enkenstein, what did you think about these stories on this Lotsa pasta evening?
So I didn't like the Sarah story.
Oh my God, some of those stories.
Sarah wasn't my favorite. I thought she sucked.
Yeah, that's why we don't talk about her.
Yeah,
right?
you're right. You're right.
That's why we don't talk about her.
But I did really like the fucking last one, actually.
Last one was crazy unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucked.
I liked the Jack-in-the-Box one.
Yo, what the fuck, though?
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it. Like,
just don't eat it.
Okay, but brings a good point. When was the last time you looked at a fast food receipt? What a waste of fucking paper.
I mean, honestly, probably like last week when I went to Taco Bell.
You looked at the receipt?
Absolutely.
What do you look at? What do you look for?
Sometimes they got like codes for shit.
Oh,
Contests.
no! I mean like the prices of shit you're not looking on there for, right? You're not like, oh, that gordita was $3.99, shit like that.
Absolutely not. The last thing I go to Taco Bell telling myself is that there's a glass roof because I will break it.
Yeah, dude.
On every order.
I hope you do. Because you should.
I pick up food for everyone.
But then, like, you can have 5 small, like, soft shell tacos, and you're like, yeah, I can have 5 more. It feels good, every single one of them.
I'm more of a chalupa man.
Chalupa Batman.
Some would say I go mouth deep on those chalupas.
How many can you eat in one sitting, you think?
1.5.
Wow.
It's strong, I know.
How do we get you to 2?
With a lot of training.
We could do it.
And a lot of exercise.
We could fucking do it.
Oh, I would lose a food eating contest.
Oh, me too.
Because I like to savor it.
You know what, though? I'm a binge eater for sure. Like, I'll have like 3 Klondike bars and a family-sized bag of salt vinegar chips.
Oh, dude,
no problem.
You're going to leave, and I'm going to crush some popcorn.
I'm going to fuck food when I get home.
You're going to fuck when you get home.
Maybe just food or myself. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens.
Oh, it's going to be a time.
If those salt and vinegar chips ain't open, they about to be open. You know what I'm saying?
This has been an episode with Doctor Enkenstein, 140. Never forget.
Never forget, baby.
Friday the 13th.
It's a great day.
It's a fun movie.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one, Captain.
2 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees. Smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe, and I get more